There are 3 tables.
Okay.
For a business role perspective, I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
This is one table.
Can you share your screen, Girish?
Yeah, I'm in screen share only.
We can just see.
Are you not able to see my screen?
No, I can see. I can see. Girish, I can see also.
Shrikant.
Why can't I had this issue before. Again, it's happening. Oh, long back, it's happening.
Can you?
What happened? You restart, Srikant? It helps if you restart the system? No, I did not. Okay. Because we are seeing clearly. Okay. Log off again, log on again. So.
Yeah. Please. Come on. Shrikant, you are login back. Hello.
Yeah, I think he is restarting the system,
Okay.
Girish.
Yeah.
That's why it may take some time.
Yep. Okay. Once maybe he logs in, then we'll see. Okay. Okay. As per our agenda, probably we'll go through the GRC to enterprise portal configuration.
I can see it now.
Yeah. Now you are able to see, right? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. This is one table, GRC REQ prologue and provisioning item. So the user ID will be common in both tables. So you need to combine these two data, then you will get user versus roles, and same user versus roles in GRC user role table. Make sure that the data is consistent. User plus roles. By combining this, you will get the data, and the complete and consistent data will be available here. So if in case of GRC business role consistency check, BRM consistency check, you can check for that particular user whether it is a direct assignment or the technical role is consistent. You need to do validation as a prerequisite for business roles. So it's a big strategy we need to follow. I'm just giving a high level overview. We need to follow the complete users and whether the role was end validity date or whether it is assigned 9999, whether the user is active. So we need to check the user status and role production status. Later it was changed or any changes in the role. Like in the BRM concept, we discussed in case of any technical were assigned or removed, we will use through provisioning button, we will adjust the user records. That was done properly or not. We need to check that. So there are validation steps which needs to be performed to make system is consistent. If still by considering all the activities still the data is not consistent, then you need to do some trial and error. For few users, you need to test it, take a sample, then you need to reach out to SAP. SAP will give one custom program to make consistent. After mapping this record, again you are facing issue, then probably you need to check that records continuously. You need to validate the data records. whether it is again still the data is not consistent or data is fine after fixing the issue. If it is consistent, then fine. If it is not consistent, then you need to again work with SAP to identify what is the root cause of the issue. I worked
Got it.
almost
Mhm.
um, 8 months with SAP to identify the issue, to fix the issue. That is because of one of the coding. Like it was not continuously, but only 1 month it was unenforced, going almost 7 months. Later, we directly contacted with SAP developer team. Then I worked with testing the complete samples around 12,000 users. Later, we have identified the profile properly, and also because of huge data, there is a database committed statement was it was because of the huge volume of data along with the roles during the sync. After several steps, there is a commit statement. Okay,
Mhm.
so even though the users are not completely sync in the system, the commit statement is executed. So whatever the missing users, their business roles, the hierarchy will be disconnected, and that users list will show as a direct assignments because of there is no hierarchy, because GRC business role is existing in the GRC system and technical roles is in backend system. Once you run the sync job, it will check each record whether the user is consistent or not. Without checking the complete data, the commit statement is completed and it was the line, it was executed from the loop, out of the loop. So whatever the missing users, the hierarchy will be disconnected because of the sync job, and it will act as a technical roles, independent technical roles, and that shows in our report user is missing business roles. But here we have a list of users who has provisioned and what business role was provisioned, but in this table the data is missing. So it is a big process. I don't want to go in depth of that. The
Okay,
intensity
that's
of
fine. Yeah.
the intensity of the issue is a very big issue. So
Mhm.
you need to check all the tables. There are user related, role related, profile related, and combination of tables. The request line items, then provisioning line items, user, whether the roles associated technical roles, the role status, whether the current status, like whether it has adjusted the provisioning button, whether the data is consistent now with the business role definition. Like suppose business role has 5 technical roles, one role was removed. So still the GRAC role, it has only 4 roles. Now the current mapping. Whereas GRAC user role, the assignment fifth role, technical role is still with user. It was not adjusted the record. So you need to make sure that the are there are some prerequisites that needs to follow if you are using business role. Each and every step you need to make sure very cautious for each and every request. Then only the operations will go very smooth. Otherwise, it will be a very big headache. You need to start working from uh, the all the users. Like suppose if it is one, you are identifying one issue. You are not sure out of 10,000 users how many users got affected, right? You need to start working all the 10,000 user analysis. So it is not a very one day task. It's a nightmare.
That's okay. Yeah, I understand now. Yeah.
That is the reason I will discuss with one to one.
Separate. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, we will have a separate call. Girish. Thank you.
Yeah, if you are observing the issue, then probably we'll work out. We'll try the possibility. Like we had tried almost 5 to 7 solutions. It was not work for me. Then later we reached SAP.
Yes.
SAP was identified when we are testing. There is a commit statement which is executed. That is, it's a kind of a different situation for us. They put us on point blank. It is not a table issue. It is just a line of code execution speed, because the time gap between the user data and the commit statement, which is very less. Because of the time gap, we are getting that issue.
I see. Okay.
Okay, now as per our plan, okay, portal configuration. Not only SAP systems, we have a portal configuration, LDAP, and some other success factor and some other systems also. We'll try to check portal integration and LDAP today. So for any portal integrations, okay, any portal system, basic, it starts with RFC connection. But whereas a portal, with respect to portal, we need to create two RFC connections. One is web service related, and another one is SPML. So the SPML1 connection would help to get the skeleton, because portal is a separate system. Their language is different, and the first name, last name, email, whatever the terminology is different. To get the schema, complete schema, we need one RFC connection and one RFC which helps to execute the program, like run the repository sync job, whatever the same activities which we're following as SAP connector. Same, we will use the one connector for the complete connector configuration, and as well as a sync job, and as well as rolling ports and provisioning. But whereas the second RFC connection, which helps to bring the complete schema into portal system to GRC system. It will store the table. There is a program. For that step, we need additional RFC. Make sure you must remember two RFCs are required for portal integration. So probably you can try that. So connection type would be G. HTTP connection it would be. So I'm creating GRC @WS, one RFC connection. I won't run sync job because we don't have a system. Even I won't do connection test because it needs to maintain the gateway host and everything. But we will execute till the sync job, all the connector configurations and field mapping steps. Till that we will try. It will ask. Okay, I think it is created. Save. So one is web service. Portal is a web service system. So I have created web service RFC. And second one is so this is schema purpose we will create. So I'm using the same names to identify.
Actually, both the RFC should be HTTP.
Yes, HTTP.
HTTP.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I will share this complete blog also for you. So SM59, we need to create two RFC connections. One is SPML type, and another one is web service. So yes, remove the names. Yeah, one is web service and another one is SPML. Two RFC connections we will create. So let us will try to go and do the steps so that it will be very easy for you to work in the environment. So SM15 and RFC connections are completed. It's not, it's an EP. Just double here. Zoom through. So EP. Okay.
Yes, what is this SPML?
It's a schema RFC. Same HTTP connection to get the schema. You will come to know. Just wait for 5 minutes. There is a job. We will use this RFC. We'll try to import the schema, but the job will not work. We'll try. So
Okay.
I have better configuration, but I have not given the logical code. Okay. The second step, what we need to do is
Pradeep, uh, it's called Service Provisioning Markup Language. Okay, okay.
sorry.
It's for provisioning. Thanks.
It is question for me. Sorry. Please. Okay. Um, um, so LP conflict. This is actually transaction was absolute. SOA manager was the new transaction, but we can use even LP config also to create the logical system. So here, so this is the step LP config. Okay, transaction, whatever the WS connector, you need to create a logical port. So with help of LP config. So now I'm in LP config. We need to select this one. GRC AD authorization web management service. So this is the, you need to give the name WS LP logical port. I have not selected here.
That special character is not tachitis.
No, it will take. I think I have mm, WS help. The description tab needs to be removed. Yeah. Logical port. So this is active, and you need to checkbox here. All parameters. Here you need to give the portal connection WS. Okay. A path suffix actually there is a big so this is a style this there is a node. You will get this complete details. You just copy the path suffix. Right now I'm not copying. So once we will, I'm just maintaining GRC. So this complete I will share this document. So probably the same test you need to copy here. So this is how we will create the logical port, and we will maintain this logical port in the scroll. Just now we created, right? This is the only additional step we will do for our connector configuration. Enterprise portal, connectors, so logical port. HTML doesn't require, but okay. For a WS, we need to maintain subsequent connector. Generally, subsequent connector will help to interact or to perform the same set of activity for two connectors. So here we will use so whatever the WS, SPML1 is the subsequent connector. So if you observe Fiori, if it is a central hub system, S4 HANA Fiori system, we will always have subsequent connector because these two activities will provide access to same set of access, backend system, front end system. Similarly, this is backend skeleton of the schema. The front end actual web service, we will use the portal for provisioning, authorization, and everything. But the skeleton will be in the SPML system. So we will map the subsequent scenario. Any questions?
This one we are doing in customization, right? Not in configuration, right? I mean, not in GRC configuration, right? It's this separate standard part, right?
Standard, I'm not getting.
Meaning, like you don't go to that GRC stuff, right? The configuration. Or doing the same? Maybe I missed the step actually. So
Same connector configuration. See, only
same configuration.
additional steps only we need to do it. That's it.
Okay.
See, the subsequent connector will only for portal and Fiori.
Okay. Once the connectors are created, you come here.
Then only you can do that. Otherwise, it is not required. Password self-service is required. Then you need to do map to subsequent system.
Actually, Grish, when suppose there are third-party tool like ServiceNow or maybe Active Directory, during that time where it is, and what kind of connection we need to create?
Mostly logical. The system that depends. See, for any system, service X are probably logical. So mostly logical for non-SAP systems.
Okay.
Okay. So I just recap. We have created two RFC connections, and one is a web service, the main RFC connection, which is used for provisioning and sync job. Later, we will use for created for schema purpose. So to populate the logical system, logical port, I have used additional LP config transaction. I've created one logical port, and we will maintain the logical port in the logical port section for WS system. Then the subsequent connector. WS is our main connector, so I've mapped subsequent SPML connection. Then since the portal is a new system, so I have created a separate connector group for that to import the roles, and I have mapped the WS connector. Sorry, WS system. So this is how I just did the connector configurations. Now, integration scenario. Auth. So for auth, we need to map the two systems. WS. Hmm. Total. Ideally, it should populate. Why it is not getting populated? One minute. Yes. Okay. So I'll just change the connection type. Total as WS web service. SPML should be here. Wow. So SPML connector should be exist. Then only we will do the mapping. So WS. I'm mapping the system. Similarly, to SPML will map the SPML connector. But firefighter generally it is only SAP system. We don't require, but uh, role management generally WS system would be there. So we have completed the integration configurations. Once that is completed, connector, as a part of connector configuration, we will work on the risk analysis. This is basically 1022, 1046 parameters. We will maintain the connector IDs. So once that is done, then we will maintain the systems. So application type, here enterprise portal, maybe environment is developed, here also portal. Once the field map, here we will select the connector group, enterprise portal active. Once this is done, so we'll complete the mappings. One system. Since it is one system, we'll make it as a default. Entry is already registered with the same key. How it is possible? Yeah. Now here, Adiraj, you asked one question: how do we do field mapping? Maybe you are Pratap, I'm not sure. So here, the connector scenario 4 for any portal system, we will do the field mapping. Here, the parameter mapping. We must do both. So to get the details, as of now we have completed all the activities like a logical connection and connection types, enterprise portal, the authorization scenario. Here I'm not able to see SPML1. Maybe latest support packet was changed, I don't know, but earlier it was there. So we for provisioning we have completed both, and for role management we have only performed the WS. Later the application type connector status we maintain. Then we have completed the field mapping. But enterprise portal 4, the action 4 is provisioning. Generally for any outside of the system like LDAP, IDM or success factor or source. Data source means basically we need to get the language or how the design in this particular system. What is the design? So each system has a different names. So to get the details, we need to map in the field map. So for a portal perspective, this is access control. So the portal perspective system field names. Here the first name. But if you observe, the first name is lowercase. Similar last name, lowercase. User ID, login name. So fax number, fax, telephone. So uh, to get the to populate these details. Suppose say in the access request, you are making GRC WS Enterprise Portal as one of the data source in your environment. So during the request submission, you need to get the details, at least first name, last name, user ID. I don't know why email is not maintained. So probably we need to get the details. But this you need to contact your portal consultant. So you need to get the details or maybe some standard reference notes like these blogs will help to maintain the details. This is field mapping. Main thing is parameter mapping. So these are the standard parameters you need to maintain, like assign underscore roles dot oc, SAP role. All are lowercase, only this uppercase. So make sure that you need to map this technical mapping. Scenario 4 here. Field mapping. Once the field mapping completed, then here parameter mapping. You need to do that.
So, okay, great. So, if the user is already exists in the system, we are not extracting data from any other tool or portal. Okay.
How?
So, suppose my user ID is already exist, then for existing user ID, it will automatically pull the first name, last name, and email address, right? I mean, or we need to do something.
How it will existing user meaning at least the first time the user should be submitted request, right? Existing user anyway it is pulling the data, but first time you need to submit the request, right, for the existing user also.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
So to get the details or to populate the details, even second time also you have to maintain, you have to do field mapping, that is for sure.
No, 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 no. Suppose user master record in PA30 is created with first name, last name, and whatever email address.
Hmm.
So, from that field, uh, I mean, why we are taking data from other sources?
Okay.
Suppose I want to take the data from the user master record, then this mapping is required or not?
No ma, user master record matlab what user master record?
In PA30, right? User
See,
master record
okay,
in
okay,
HR.
okay. One thing. Okay, one thing. See, might be you don't require only very few user ID or see, even if you want to provision roles to portal system, right?
Hmm?
In this particular time, and that during for provisioning, we can say for portal provisioning, at least system should understand user ID, validity from validity to, right?
Hmm?
So the portal role, what is the validity period and what is the from and to values, and user ID is a SAP field name, but it should be assigned, whatever the provisioning roles should be assigned to login name in the portal. That system should understand, right? To make compatible to the system, at least if you are not using your portal as a data source, you need to do few field mapping, at least user ID, valid from valid to. Then only the system, after provisioning, the system will populate the data in the specific fields in the portal, right? Not
No,
everything.
no, no. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. I mean, that is
And
for the portal and everything.
and
But
and
basically,
and
I am
for
talking
and
about.
for the additional, okay, if you observe
Mhm.
these things, right, the schema ID, you need to understand few parameters like role, user, these things, right? These things
Mhm.
definitely system should understand. So forget about field mapping. At least you need to do uh, parameter mapping to assign the roles, everything for provisioning.
So Girish, the parameter value is nothing but the fields enterprise portal, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
How are we getting these values, Girish?
This
This
is default.
parameter.
You can get the note SAP notes or blogs. This is a standard SAP note. I was tried. I have a few notes. I'll try to share that notes. Okay.
Okay.
With reference
So
enterprise
this,
Yeah,
portal,
this
you will get the
parameter
standard.
names manually we enter right here. This.
Manually. Okay. For your case, I will enter one value.
So upper one is from the other source, right? And lower one is from recipe.
Yeah. For parameter, I think it is internal. Sorry, this is technical name of the SAP GRC system. This is portal system. Both AC field name, system field name. System is a local system like portal system. AC field name is access control GRC. Similarly, here. So as soon as you say, then it will be like this. So the last one will comes to top. So make sure that there is no difference. Okay. So if you start with here, it will go down. If you create another one, it
Girish,
will again come down.
yeah. Question here, Girish. There is no group here, Girish.
This is a group.
Roles. So I see it here. It's a roles. That's fine. So if I want to do for the groups, what do we do? Or we cannot do that. Or
No, no,
GRC.
no, 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 no. GRC cannot. But I think whatever the roles they will create, right, in the portal.
Uh huh.
Ideally, there is an internal mechanism. The subsequent LDAP groups will create map to this particular role. I have not
I see.
configured any time. Like suppose if it is admin role, user admin has the portal icon of the portal system, and some groups, right, LDAP groups should be assigned, right, automatically. So that mechanism internally might be mapped to the SAP role, whatever the groups sufficient for the
Uh,
role.
uh, so I think in this process, Girish, right?
Mhm.
This is not doing anything with the groups because we are just writing the uh, all these fields. Yeah, basically,
Yes, yes,
if
yes.
you're a good enterprise portal, right?
Yeah.
You just whatever you give the input over here, it will
See,
write out there
okay.
because we have the enterprise portal system. So that's what I do. But the only thing here is right. The groups are not there. So we mostly use the group concept. I mean, small system. So what I do, I create a group with the roles, and I upload it in the enterprise portal, and then I will assign that group to the user than assigning the roles to the user.
No, I understand that. See, this is
Hmm.
completely integration. We are not going enterprise portal. What is happening? Security. Okay. We are just integrating the enterprise portal, the basic skeleton, the system to system connection only, not within the system. So probably your working groups and roles, everything in the enterprise portal system. But the same we will create. I think I have worked at two projects. Two projects they are using roles only. But internally
I
it will
see.
assign. Internally it will
Okay.
assign the groups, whatever the basic LDAP groups, system access, the user admin icon, the options, user admin options, everything.
I see. Hmm.
Okay, till this you are clear, right? What steps we followed, the connector configuration steps, and to get the schema. Okay, this is the job where you need to map in your sync. You need to run the sync job. Sync job. Fetch IDM schema. So this is SAP principles. Here you need to give the HTML connector GRC HTML EALS. Yeah. SAP principles. This is the IDM. This is the schema ID. So this is one of the parameter. Standard schema ID SAP principles is the parameter value. So the same you can use schema SAP principles, the SPML connector. Once we run the sync job, then automatically the structure will come to portal system, GRC system, one of the table. I don't remember right now the table. Once this is completed, then we'll run the sync job and we'll import the roles. Then the roles will be available for provisioning during the role import that yesterday we discussed. We will prepare the files. Probably I can before that maybe Shrikant has raised another point probably. So if it is portal role, that is fine. If it is portal group you want to provision, you need to activate so generally there is a group, so this needs to be enabled. Generally what we will do,
Nice.
whatever which is you are not using, that is you can make inactive. But if in case you need to verify group, portal group is active, so that it will be available for provisioning. So you need to make sure that the role type should be active and role import. So application type is SAP. Application type is not. We cannot validate the system. So instead of SAP, we need to make sure that use the skip option. You will get enterprise portal, file from desktop, skip option, enterprise portal. I have created a protocol logical group. Yes. Maybe methodology status. You can upload the file. So to import the portal roles, always make sure that you can use skip option. If it is a backend system, you won't be able to get non-SAP systems. Like apart from SAP systems, you cannot get any of the system. BI, CRM, GRC, SAP, SAP HANA, SuccessFactors, then supplier management. Only these roles will be available. So make sure that you will use the skip option to get the enterprise portal.
Girish, can you perform risk analysis?
That depends. You can create your own, like the roles, groups, right? We called just now discussed groups. You can create your custom rule set for this. SAP won't provide, SAP doesn't have any standard rule set. You can create same logic, user admin versus role admin, and maybe,
Because auth scenario we have enabled right auth.
sorry,
No, in while in the this activating the integration scenario, we have also enabled AUTH, right?
hey, AUTH is for only first sync job, later risk analysis. First, mainly for sync
Okay,
job.
okay.
If you are creating additionally for custom risk, then yeah, you can do that. But auth is mainly for sync jobs.
Okay, okay.
I'm talking about non-SAP system point of view. If it is SAP, then it will work for both.
Understood, yeah.
So this is how we'll create a portal system integration. And one of the condition, I was trying to find the note. I don't know. I don't remember the note, but whenever enterprise portal uh, is existing in your landscape, like SAP, ECC, SRM, CRM, and portal. So whenever enterprise portal system is existing in our landscape, make sure that the sync job order, first portal should be completed, then later SAP systems, any of the SAP system. But if it is existing in our landscape, enterprise portal is one of the system, make sure that you can schedule portal sync job first. This was recommended for us, SAP, um, but I was not able to find that particular note number. SAP has suggested some notes. There is a note. Portal sync should schedule first, later another system. If there is no portal system, then you can run any of the order, like ECC first, SRM first, or a CRM system. There is no preference. But if it is a portal, then ideally there is a preference in the jobs. So you just remember this point, but I'll try to get information. This is 90%. I as soon as I remember, there is a separate. This is how you can um, integrate your portal system with GRC. Sorry, GRC with the portal system. Any questions? I will share this link. Even SAP standard note also, they will give this blog for a reference. But make sure that in real-time system, you need to do the connection test. It should be ideally the system. We cannot do authorization sync. Ideally, we can create elevated access role, sorry, elevated access user, and we'll maintain in the logon security. That is the only one step which is missing. And once this connection test is okay, then we will run the sync job, the second part. Only those two we are missing in our system because we don't have a facility. Otherwise, all the steps we have completed all the steps basically. It's a kind of a just a
Give,
configuration. Only subsequent scenario and logical port. Additionally, the mechanism we need to enable the role, a type, group, and the mechanism for importing the portal roles. Just it will change. Rest of the everything it is same. Different from our SAP system because field mapping anyway we cannot do that, and a role import we will directly do that. Select the SAP system and logical group, and subsequent system only for Fiori. Apart from portal, we will do for Fiori. But logical port we don't require, only for specific to portal system which is required logical port. Rest of the everything
Girish,
it is same.
Girish, how long it will take for implementation small piece?
I will, if it is everything ready, I will configure within one day.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No, but
One day.
it is a part of, yeah, it is a part of, see, it's a enhancement, then probably it would require some testing, like default roles. There is a discussion from business, the role owner, and the severity of the roles during the role import. We need to do some mechanism. Like it's a directly provisioning system, right? So definitely we would require role
Mhm.
owners and everything, business get it, and they will validate
No, no,
the system. So
but we can configure workflow for that as well, right? I mean, separate for EP
that
system.
depends. Like if it is the same system type, sorry, direct system. If it is connector preference, then we will include enterprise portal. If it is only request type and provisioning, we don't require a system, right? We will use the same workflow. Again, it depends on the strategy how we are following. If we have a preference for apart from the request type, there is a separate different preferences. Then yes, connector is the one of the input in our BRF. Then request type system equal to particular path. Then probably we will use the request 001 and enterprise portal, and we'll move to normal path or enterprise portal path.
Girish, connector, request type, and system. These are three conditions what you spoke just now.
Yeah, if it is required.
No, connector and system
No, no,
aren't they the
both are
same?
same. Both are same. Request type connector ID or request type system. We will use input and we will maintain the appropriate path.
No, sorry, Krish, actually, so once, okay, that integration is done, okay, okay, there is XYZ workflow to get computed, for example, but is it auto provisioned in portal able groups?
Yes, yes. That is the reason we are trying, right? See, enterprise portal directly we can provision the users. We can provision the roles. Like how we will do for SAP systems. Similarly, we can do for
Mm-hmm.
enterprise portal. See, as soon as you are checking authorization scenario, sorry, provisioning scenario, this is a problem when we are using long sessions. See the connection types with reference to provisioning. Whenever customer asked
Mm-hmm.
what are the systems we can directly provisioning, you come to this particular screen, you can check HANA database, we can directly provisioning. See, these are the class and interfaces. IAG systems directly we can do. Then LDAP, SAP, SAP success factor. Success factor here and here because there is a history. Success factor is a separate system. The later SAP occupied and it is created connector group, sorry, connection type. But before success factor, SAP has developed IAG and through IAG group bridge scenario, we can directly provision to success factor. So that is the reason we will be able to identify two. Then SPML, this is basically IDM. If SAP GRC system is integrated with IDM system for non-SAP systems provisioning, we will use this mechanism. And same portal to get the skeleton. Now web service, any web service portal systems, we will use the with the help of this connection type, we will directly provision the users. So apart from this, any other system, if anybody asks, then no, we cannot provision. We need to do manual provisioning, and we need to do configuration such a way that last stage would be security, and we will create logical system, and we will use the non-SAP systems to sync the data.
So IEG specifically for Ariba and success factor only, right?
Right now,
IEG.
yes, right now. Still, there is like SAP is start buying the some of the products. So still, it is. I think field glass is also maybe possible with IAG bridge. I suspect that, but still that R&D is going on.
And LDAP specifically for external tool, no?
Yes, LDAP also you can directly provision. Not only data source, you can provision LDAP also users.
Basically for Active Directory, correct?
Yes, Active Directory. So any questions in the portal? Because I'll just cover overview of LDAP. But LDAP, Subhasar has created a very beautiful videos, so you can refer. But I'll just go on a glance what activities. Similarly, same, but the connection type would be difference. But since it is additional third-party system, so instead of logical port, you have separated transaction ports to make them active and get the data. That's it. So, any questions from portal? Anand? Okay. Now,
No, Girish, I think I'm good. Yeah. So I think once you implement, then you may have some questions, but I think other than that,
yeah, that is the reason.
just take forward, right?
See,
Yeah. Because we are not doing any customization here, right? We are not doing any customization.
No.
So we're just mapping what all we have in the system, right?
Yes.
That's it.
So LDAP
Mhm.
integration. Similarly, whatever portal integration, similarly we can do LDAP integration. But here the connection type would be TCP/IP. Earlier it was G. For SAP systems it is 3. For non-SAP systems we will use L, logical system. Basically the system does not exist, but to complete connector configurations and everything, we will make them create a logical connections for non-SAP T. So we will create the LDAP RFC destination. Okay, and one of the key point for LDAP RFC connection is, even this is in the standard document, whatever the RFC destination name, ideally it should be mapped with program name. It is the complete details, you don't worry about that. It is completely either a basis team responsibility or LDAP team responsibility. But as a GRC SME, you must know this data, then it will be at least try to starting itself you can uh, make better for the configuration perspective. But there is a standard guide there. It refers standard guide. It refers whatever the RFC destination name and make sure that program name. Basically, whatever the program name in the LDAP system we are using, they will suggest to create the same name in the RFC destination. So in a reverse way, and whatever the details, username in the LDAP, they will create elevated access. Same elevated access user ID, admin ID. We will maintain in the logon security username and password. Once the RFC connection is completed, then there LP config, we have used external to create the logical port. Here, there is a transaction in the GRC system where we can do active for the LDAP connection, that is LDAP. Transaction code is LDAP. Here we will identify what type of system. I think the server name would we will get the details from um, LDAP team, and basis will maintain the details. The
No,
connector name,
that particular entry is your RFC connection names.
yeah. This is RFC connection name. The application server name is type of server, like probably Microsoft server or Azure. Sir, I'm not able to get the option. The server.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is the SM59 thing.
Okay. So here we will maintain the details.
Okay, so there are 2-3 things here. Okay, so there are. This is basically a basis activity. What we people need to do. There are 3 teams involved in this. Basically, okay. If you get to do this, then you are involved. Then you have the basis team. Now, basis team has 2 responsibilities, 2 tasks mainly. One is to create that RFC connection, and then there is at an OS level there is a program that's a executable file, or what is that called in SAP? There is a program that needs to be kept running all the time to make this work. The program is LDAP_RFC. Like you have .exe files for Windows type, operating systems. SAP has LDAP_RFC program at the OS level. There is a format command which will make your LDAP server connect 24/7 type of thing. So SAP has to, basis team has to schedule that program at the OS level also. That is very important. If that does not work, the RFC connection will not work, which means your LDAP connector will not work to fetch the data from the LDAP system. So that program is very, very important. So whenever the systems are taken down for refreshes or whatever, system copies or whatever, as a post activity, you need to ensure that that program is again reactivated, is again executed. Now that is one thing that the basis team will do. The second team that is involved in this whole process of setting it up is the LDAP team, the Active Directory team. So Active Directory team, you need to get these pieces of information from them. Now, keep in mind, these are old LDAP systems, meaning directory. Now, I think even Microsoft has changed it to open LDAP something, so the screen may look little different in the latest versions. Okay. But in this case, you need to get few pieces of information from them. One is the host name. The second is the port number. Obviously, you know what that product is. Microsoft Windows which is your Active Directory. You need to know that. Product version will always be LDAP version 3 by default. Now, LDAP application, what is that you're going to fetch? what type of information are you going to fetch from LDAP? It's going to be user. So we use user. And the main thing in this whole process is that system logon. Now, there is a user ID that needs to be created on the LDAP side, a service user ID that needs to be created on the LDAP side. So the LDAP team needs to give you that user ID and the password. And that password and the user ID has to be maintained in a table on the SAP side. That is important. Okay. Now, after that is done, then you configure your field mapping. The major step after this, after you make all this site configuration settings, the major step is to do the field mapping. Field mapping in the sense, what are the attributes from the LDAP side, from the Active Directory side, that you want to pull into SAP. Okay. So if you scroll down, Girish.
Yes, sir.
So come scroll down. Okay, so this is the Pro configuration that Girish will explain. But your LDAP configuration, scroll down. Come down. Girish will go through this after I'm done. This is from a GRC standpoint, okay, whatever he is showing. And this is your LDAPs. No. So he didn't show the complete ID.
No,
All right. So go to.
Yeah, I'm going.
Go to LDAP servers. Go to LDAP servers. No. LDAP.
Sorry.
That button. Click on LDAP servers. So this is the screen where you have to click on new. Click on whatever. New entries. And this is where you populate your server name and the Windows information here. See this name, if you see the screen, right? Compare the screen with that block screenshot, it will look different. Yeah, this one. If you see, compare this screenshot with the other one, the actual one now, see it looks different. It's called Open LDAP and all that. So any which way, there is another point. Okay, another very important parameter is your base entry. The base entry is basically a parameter string where you specify what is the node structure on your LDAP directory where the user ID information is located. Okay, even this you have to get it from the LDAP team, the base entry. After this thing is configured, right, this screen is done, you see on the left, there are two folders. In the first folder, you need to basically the attribute structure related to this LDAP.
I'll try to open.
No, you need to fill up those initial thing, Girish. It won't come.
Yeah.
You have to create the LDAP server and all that.
Yes.
Because here at the bottom the entries are not populated, right?
Yes.
So that is why you won't get anything. So there are two steps here. Okay, after this, one, you get the list of attributes by double clicking on mapping, and then you say there is an option you'll get in the menus to do the attribute import. So you get all the list of attributes. Then you go to the synchronization folder, and there you have to you'll get in both the screens, you'll get a few columns, which would basically say against each attribute, import, export. There are 4 or 5 or maybe more columns where you have checkboxes that you need to decide which attributes, information, data you want to import. Okay, so that step is in you do what attributes data to import. You do it in synchronization tab. So basically, let's say you want to map the user IDs. You want to map the last name, first name, email ID, user group. There are some attributes that are pretty standard, common information, that between SAP and um, at LDAP. But SAP also gives you a program list of attributes that you can give to the LDAP team to extend the schema on the LDAP side. So which means when the LDAP you give that file to the LDAP team, they can extend the Active Directory schema to include SAP related attributes. So for example, SAP related attributes could be user group, the logon data user group. Okay. And there is logon and the user group, the group tab, that is one of the attributes. SAP roles is another attribute. SAP, anything to do with SAP defaults, those are attributes. Program called, SAP, if you go to SA38, there's a program called RS LDAP schema extension. So you execute that program, whatever you get as an output, you copy paste that into a file, a .ldf file, and then share it with the basis team. Now, when you share it with the basis team, you have two choices. Either you tell them to extend RS LDAP, RS LDAP something, schema ext, right in the middle. Right in the middle, go up, come down. That one, I think. Here you select the program, the product, your LDAP. Let's say application mode or domain mode, whatever. Okay. It will give you what? It didn't execute?
No, I have not.
Okay. So there are some instructions here. Okay. And if you see this output, you will see if you scroll down, you can easily figure out what are the different attributes SAP gives you. So for example, you have SAP company, company key, right? Then if you come down, you'll have the building name, right? You also have the birth name. It come down. SAP class, for example, SAP class is your user. What is that? The user group. Okay, in the logon data tab. If you scroll up, you have the title. Then if you look down, you have SAP valid to field. Okay, then you'll have the valid from field. Now you see CN equal to the CN that you look at those. You look at the CN colon entry in that under true.
This one, sir.
That one, or then below true also you got.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. LDAP display name. Now LDAP display name.
LDAP display. Yeah, I have selected.
Yeah, these are all you can relate it to what you see on the in the SU01 tabs. So this what you're looking at right now is what you see in the logon data tab. Okay, so similarly, if you scroll down, you will see all the attributes. You'll see the attributes for SAP role. You will see the attribute for SAP group, which is your group tab. Okay. So what you can give this to the LDAP team and tell them to extend the LDAP schema with all these attributes, and they will know how to do it. Or you can give this file and say attributes that you want to to fetch. You only give those attributes. So, for example, in HD Shrikant, we gave only 6 or 7 attributes. So, user ID,
Right, sir.
the valid to, valid from, the last name, first name, and then I think we gave user group, the LDAP group, the logon data tab group, and then I think we gave a couple of defaults, the date format and the decimal format.
And also essential, Subha. You gave essential.
Essential also, correct. So we did not ask them to, extend all the attributes, right? The schema. We only give them limited.
Right.
So the attributes that you give, right? Those are the attributes that you need to map for importing in the synchronization folder. Okay. How the screens will look on the YouTube channel, you have all the step-by-step videos. I don't know how many, 12 or 13 videos or maybe whatever. So go through those videos. You will know end to end how it is configured, what the basis team would do and what you would do if you have to do this LDAP configuration. Okay.
Yeah, it is available on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on my channel. I uploaded it I think last year or sometime. I don't remember, but it is there. It is there.
Yeah, I think I had gone through Subha on that video. I think, yeah, how it's there. Yeah.
And after this thing is done, right? Now, from a data source standpoint or a strategy design standpoint, you do all this, configuration, which Girish will explain in a minute. But, for example, last year I was on a project and they did not use LDAP as a data source. Okay. So what that customer did was they configured this LDAP integration into the GRC system. Okay. And then there is a scheme, what do you call, user synchronization program. So go to SA38. God, what was the program name? Go RS LDAP use sync user. Try RS LDAP sync user. And this step is also there in the video. Huh? Go through that video, you'll know. That, that one. Go and execute it. So assuming that, your LDAP configuration is working, right? Whatever the system is doing, whatever you have done in the transaction LDAP, whatever, right? Let's assume it is working. Now, what you could do is you can automate your user provisioning, and this is what we did at HD mainly. Before we had, what is that? Okay, we didn't have anything. So we automated our user provisioning using this mechanism. Okay, we didn't have GRC at the time. We had Security Weaver, but Security Weaver, when the customer did not implement the user provisioning ARM piece of that solution. So what we did is we used what this LDAP functionality that SAP has given, and we automated our entire user provisioning. We built our own custom user provisioning. Let's say that. So we use this program. So what you do here, you give the LDAP server name, connector name that you have configured in the transaction LDAP. Now, then you have a choice here. If you go to the second section, user section, if you know a user ID was created on the LDAP side, you can specify that user ID and then create that user SAP. Okay. The customization, what we did was when the user ID gets created, we also maintained the roles, our logic of the roles in a custom table. Actually,
it becomes map it with the user groups.
Yeah, it becomes a bigger discussion. Whatever. Yeah, idea is a bigger discussion. So we created, we'll enter the user ID here and whatever logic we had, the user ID would get created with the roles assigned to him. Okay, whatever our logic for role assignment was. So you can specify individual user IDs, or you use the checkbox called for that user filter, right? It will create all the user IDs that will create what is that called? Yeah, what is the word we use? Delta user IDs, basically, right? And the logic for creating the user IDs in SAP is based on the 3 boxes below that, the timestamp. And understanding these 3 groups is very important. Objects that exist both in directory and in database. Directory means your Active Directory. Database means SAP. So what you should do with user if the user ID exists on both sides? Ignore, compare. When you do compare, it basically updates the user ID. Whatever changes have happened on the Active Directory side, it will It will make or update the changes for the user ID on the SAP side. Okay. The second box is important if it is for new user IDs, meaning if the user ID was creating the LDAP but does not exist on the SAP side. But there are 2 objects, two items there, right? Create in database, which means create it in SAP, and then delete from directory. So that's a kind of unacceptable thing. People will not agree to do that, delete from that directory, meaning let's say you delete a user ID on the SAP side, delete it from the LDAP side also. People won't let you do it. So you'll end up using in the LDAP integration scenario, SAP LDAP integration scenario, create in database is the only thing that makes sense. Okay. And the third one is also important in the sense, what should happen if the user ID does not exist on the Active Directory side, meaning the user has left the company. In that case, the LDAP team would remove that user record from the Active Directory side. So if that happens, then what should happen on the SAP side when this program runs? So you can either delete it from the database, meaning you can, if the ID is removed from that directory, you can delete it from SAP also. Or if the user ID is deleted or removed from Active Directory, you can lock it on the SAP side. Okay. And the third option is if you create a user ID on the SAP side, you can go and create it on the Active Directory side also. For example, let's say you create a batch user ID and you want that batch user ID to exist on the Active Directory side, right? Then you can use that option. But customers will not agree to such a thing because you don't want, because Active Directory has certain attributes that you won't find in SAP. So it doesn't, for Active Directory team, it is not part of their policy. So you will not use this option also, creating in a directory. So what this customer did, instead of using LDAP as the data source, they would use this program to create the user IDs on the GRC system. So the GRC system used to be our data source. So if the LDAP directory, if the user ID was deleted from the LDAP directory for in deprovisioning scenario, running the sync programs, it will delete the user ID from GRC system also. From GRC system meaning the ABAP side of it. You follow?
Yes, yeah, that is the option that we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how it is, and the videos on the YouTube channel will show you end-to-end steps for doing whatever I have explained so far. We cannot, in this, but cannot show you the screens because, the LDAP is not configured, right? So you cannot go to the mapping screens. So there's another thing, right? Once you do this, right? Let's assume you do the synchronization using this LDAP sync program. It also generates a log. So for example, when you do SU10, after the SU10, it generates a log, right? LDAP sync also generates a log. And to see the logs, there is a transaction code called, what is that? LDAP. LDAP log. I think it is LDAP log. To execute LDAP log, so there is a program, this transaction code called LDAP log. So your sync logs you can see from here, meaning whether any user IDs, the sync job failed, if any ID was not created, or whatever the sync conditions are for you, whether it was executed successfully or not, you can check the logs here. Okay. Any questions on this LDAP integration?
So GRC standpoint of view, we are just consuming the data, right? Is that correct statement?
Yeah, GRC, okay, Girish is going to go through this pro configuration, but whatever I just explained to you is what is needed to get to this point, to the GRC configuration point. Till this point, you need whatever I have explained.
Yeah, for general configuration, it is just a connector configuration. We will create the connector, and we'll create the connector group for separate. Then we'll map the integration scenarios for LDAP. Same like just now we executed portal, right? We will use the same, and for provisioning we will do the field map.
So here is the question, right? Girish, I don't know, you want to start explaining again? So the user ID is what you just showed, the field mapping, right, Girish? That is only for consuming purpose only, right? So meaning, yeah, go ahead.
Correct. You're not going to use that sync program, what I explained in the end, to create the user IDs in SAP. So that mapping that you do is only for touching the data from SAP into your GRC system. That's all it is.
As a data source.
You're just not creating.
So consuming the data, yeah.
Correct. That's all it is. Correct.
So meaning like whenever I create a request type, right, I go there and I have the user ID. There it comes to the picture, right, Subha? So there I just put that ID and put it. Okay.
Correct. But once that configuration is done, this is what is actually needed for you in GRC. Okay. Whatever Girish is showing you on the screen, you have to do your field mapping, and then the the field mapping, and then this parameter mapping also.
So basically the bulk you get from the initial mapping, and here whatever you want, you can just put it, right?
Yeah, whatever is needed. Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, this is pretty standard, huh? Meaning, whatever you see in the blog is you can use this, those those fields and parameters as it is.
Yeah. So probably for this step, the initial steps to get the data, that is what Subha explained, the complete details, how the data is being populated and how it will map everything, the internal program. So that is, we have a videos, probably we'll share this video, right? Then immediately he will share the link for the this, and as well as the YouTube link for a reference.
No, YouTube, you go and I think it's on, where is it? I forgot. Is it in the ECC playlist?
No.
One of you guys go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just had a question, Subha. So we do LDAP map on the transaction code, right? That's where we use as well, right, Subha? Or is it something else again?
What? Now come again?
The LDAP map, the transaction code.
No, it's the same thing. If you see whatever Girish did, right?
That is
same thing.
No. So go and execute LDAP map. You'll see it's the same way. It's the same transaction. You'll come to this point. No, LDAP map will bring you to this screen.
Same screen. Mapping and synchronization.
Got it.
Okay, there's another point. Okay, to how do integration? If you go back to LDAP screen, assuming go to LDAP, assuming your configuration is working on what setup, you click on the log on, and then here when you select and you execute, when you execute you'll get a green traffic light. Okay. And then
here it will green.
Once there you'll get the green traffic light, and to know whether the data is getting fetched or not, go back to that screen again. Yeah, that's how it will be. Click on find. You'll have to click that find button will get activated, and when you click on find, there is a how do I put it? Attribute based LDAP attribute based search. You can say, I think it is there in my video also. If you see
It's a SAM account name equal to the ID.
Yeah,
Subha.
equal correct. Parenthesis, SAM account name
Yes.
equal to user ID
On,
or whatever attributes. You can search by the attribute. So if you get that data, that means your LDAP connections are working fine. If you don't, then you'll have to figure out why the data, why it's not working.
Okay. So this thing we do it at GRC system level, and also you do the mapping at connector level. Two things, right, Subha?
Yes, yes.
No. I didn't get your question, but there are two configuration pieces here. One is the LDAP GRC integration, and the second one is the configuration, GRC configuration.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are two pieces. Yes.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Girish, go ahead and explain the Pro configuration.
It's already 10 o'clock. I don't know. People are okay. Yeah. How long is it, Girish? You're next week or want to do it now?
No. It's a pretty straightforward. You just go through this. Then probably, if you have any questions, then probably we'll connect on 29th. Probably next week it won't be possible. On 29th, we'll discuss on 29th. We have a system refresh, which is actually planned earlier, but because of the troubleshooting and that was postponed to 29th last session. So it's a
Okay, so basically next week we don't have classes, right? That's what. 29th,
direct 29th, one session.
29th is Sunday.
Sunday.
How about 28th? No class?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we have 29th is the certificate ceremony, I think. This is the last class.